the Orthodox prayer books. I want to make sure everyone has a prayer book and a handout for today.
Today I'm right.
So please make sure they got that.
Does anybody need a handout?
Well, these are the same.
Yeah, those are the same edition. You know, the red books are the red books are a supplement for those who for whom the Hebrew is really difficult to read, and they supplement the blue books. We won't be doing that much reading out loud in Hebrew, but I just want you to know that we have this available resource. So good morning. It's good to see everybody. So we're continuing our course in exploring Jewish prayer. We've been talking about the tension between keva and kavanah. Who remembers the difference between those two terms? Alice.
Keva is the structure, the organized prayer. Kavanah is the real feeling behind it.
Right. So we have a tradition going back to biblical times of pouring out our heart to God in many different ways, and we have several ways in which we ourselves and our ancestors have attempted to call out to God. Our thanks to Rabbi Mark Gelman of New York, giving thanks, oops, and wow. Those form the core of basic approaches to prayer. As we've been seeing in our progression, there's always this tension between this spontaneous communication with God, which is clearly a value in our tradition, and yet at the same time, as we've progressed as a people over time, we've moved more and more towards a fixed liturgy. Last week we looked at the bracha, the blessing, is the building block of Jewish liturgy. And today we're going to move into the section of the morning shacharit service, the morning service known as the Shema and its blessings. So what I'd like to do is really jump right in, and we're going to look more in the prayer book than we have in the past. So I'm going to ask that you turn to page 107. Now this is in the blue book, and this is the new Sidur Sim Shalom that's published by the conservative movement. And this particular edition is the Or Chadash annotated volume. The page numbers correspond exactly to the books that we have in the pews of our congregation. However, we have the annotations on the outer margins, and this is to help illuminate the prayers for both beginners and advanced daveners alike. It enhances the prayer experience to be able to delve more deeply into the meaning of the prayer. And I think when we do this, when we have this elucidation of the meaning of the prayers, that helps enhance our kavanah. Right? So even though we have the fixed sidur, we still have this important principle that we have to really feel the words and understand the words. Let's look at the first page here. The central declaration of faith in Judaism is the Shema. And we're probably familiar with that, at least the first verse, or the first few verses. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We're going to come to that. That's the centerpiece of this first major section of the morning blessings. And I can imagine that at some point in antiquity, that piece from the Torah. You remember, the Shema verses are taken right from the book of Deuteronomy. And there are 3 paragraphs of the Shema that we see together. 2 are from Deuteronomy, 1 is from Numbers. And it's possible that at one point they stood on their own. People were moved to declare their faith in God by saying those words. In Rabbinic Judaism, as it took hold 2,000 years ago, a broader liturgy was developed around the Shema, such that in the morning, before we actually say the verse of the Shema, we say 2 blessings beforehand and 1 afterwards. In the evening Shema, we say 2 blessings before the verses of the Shema and 2 blessings after. Now, before we go even deeper, I just want to ask, why do we say the Shema in our morning blessings and in our evening blessings, in the Shacharit service and in the evening service? Can anyone venture a guess as to why?
I would guess that one is to bless you all day, and then the one to keep you safe all night, or something like
Okay.
that. To cover all the ground.
Yeah, to cover ground. I mean, we can look at, I think we'll see with all of the prayer services, they are what some scholars call markings of liminal moments. A liminal moment is like a doorpost to another place. All of our holidays are liminal moments. They mark passages of time. Like the springtime is it's a transition. We mark the transition from winter to spring, and we have the holiday of Passover right at that moment. The fall holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, that's a liminal moment. It's a doorpost from the summer to the fall. Every day we have liminal moments, doorposts in which we mark passages of time. So when we wake up, we'll see, hopefully in the liturgy itself, that waking up, starting a new day, it's like a new life. And death is somewhat of a simulation of death, and when we wake up and start a new day, it's like a new life. So the Shacharit service is a liminal moment. It's a gateway to a new day. Similarly, Mariv, the evening service, is a gateway to the evening. And before electricity was used to illuminate our homes, the evening was a scary time. It was really dark. We spoke about darkness yesterday in the main service for those who were there. We talked about the plague of darkness in Egypt. Darkness is a scary thing. So we mark darkness by prayer, and we say the Shema in the morning and the evening. But the real reason why we say Shema in morning and evening, if you look at page 112, I'm going to skip there now and we'll come back to it more in depth later.